Hello, I'm Bart Chateau, and welcome to the Zootsie Center for Compassionate Relief in New York City for this very special edition of Mindful Eye Film at Zootsie Center, presented in conjunction with CNN's first ever Call to Earth Day, November 10th, 2021. This CNN initiative aims to raise awareness of environmental issues, and we have chosen to focus on the impact of excessive meat consumption. Industrialized meat production causes pollution and ecological destruction and contributes to climate change and more. As individuals, we can play a role in stopping this simply by eradicating meat and animal products from our diet. Perhaps the way to do so is through recognizing the cruelty and killing our meat habit demands. Gunda, our feature presentation, is a masterpiece of experiential cinema that reveals the mystery of animal consciousness and puts us face to face with humanity's denial of it to serve our self-centered purposes. For director Viktor Kossakovsky, the urge to make this film began over 20 years ago, and he persevered despite the challenges of getting funding for such a unique work. Perhaps the motivation goes back even further to when he was just 4 years old and became a lifelong vegetarian. And now, without further ado, let's meet the director, Viktor Kossakovsky. Hello, Viktor.
Hello, guys. How are you?
It's great to see you. You are speaking to us from your native...
At the moment, I'm in Berlin, Germany.
Oh, you're in Berlin, Germany. Wonderful. Well, we so appreciate you taking the time. I thoroughly enjoy this film, and I can talk for hours about the cinematic achievement that it is. But we are, since we are in the business of mindfulness, I would just like to direct more of the conversation into the responsibility that we have as viewers of this film and as purveyors and protectors of these incredible creatures. Just getting really, actually living with an octo-lacto vegetarian. My wife does not do meat or fish, and she does eggs only and dairy. I have a sense of what it's like to live with a vegetarian and have sort of a vegetarian home. So I have a great appreciation for this film and for the subjects that were definitely highlighted. So my question for you is that I heard when you were 4 years old, you became a vegetarian. Now, what prompted you to become a vegetarian? Was there a certain event that happened in your life that prompted this?
Yeah, first of all, before I go to this story, I need to say that probably this is my best audience because there is a writer, it used to be Russian writer, and then he became American writer, Nabokov. You actually probably know his Lolita or other books. And he said, my goal is to make my readers to become viewers. I want to write it in a way that my readers becoming viewers. And if I think this direction, my goal as filmmaker, that my viewers will become philosophers, at least for 90 minutes, that you will start thinking about something meaningful. And that's why if you're talking to you is probably the best audience I had so far. So about my childhood, yes, I was 4 years old, and generally I grew up in St. Petersburg and Leningrad at that time. But at age four, they sent me for a few months in the countryside in a small village between Moscow and St. Petersburg. And what I remember, it was very cold winter. And the people I lived with, they took piglets, 1 month piglets, inside the house. So, and I was 4 years old, the piglet was 1 month old, and he became my best friend. So we were just running in the home, making mess everywhere, enjoying life. And I knew that he's smart. I knew he understands me. I knew we can have a good company, and I knew he is my fellow. So, and actually, this is best memory of my childhood. So, and then of course, New Year time, he became a dinner for those relatives. And for me, it was disaster because they killed my friend. And since then, I cannot even imagine that I can eat meat. So, and I never did. So as you see, I'm alive here. And then I became vegan, and I never and my kids, for example, I have two. One is them almost 20, another one 33, and they never ate any meat or fish or eggs or chicken or something, and they are healthy enough. So it's absurd to believe that we need animal products to be alive. It's not. We don't. This is, I am in front of you, and I am a proof, living proof that we don't. So
What an incredible story. How long was the piglet with you as a friend before his
this is
demise?
this is very difficult for me to say because I was really little. I just have strong emotions that this is my biggest memory. Actually, for Soviet Union, it was quite a problem that the kid became vegetarian and actually was fighting with relatives and with parents, because for Soviet Union, it's absolutely extraordinary to have vegetarian, to be vegetarian, especially a kid. But my mom, she was suffering with me. Like she didn't know what to cook for me. And then later when I became already like older, and I already was after 20, I came home to her, and suddenly she asked me, Victor, but what's wrong with you? Why you are such strange? Why no people eat meat and they don't ask? Why you like this? And I said, actually, it's your fault, mom. And she said, what? How it come? And I said, if I remember my really first memory of my life, I probably was 3 years old. And I remember we were in the street and we were just walking on the street, and it was a little plant or bush, whatever it is. And I remember I took one leaf I cut one leaf from the bush. And my mom said to me, hey, why did you do that? And I said, oh, look, it's beautiful leaf. And she said, hey, wait a second. If you take one here from yourself and cut it, is it painful? I tried to do it, and I said, yeah, it is painful. And she said, so the bush feels pain as well, so don't do it anymore. So she actually made me feel empathy towards any creatures around me. So this is probably mom is for, right? This to tell us something more important, most important in life.
That story had such a profound effect on you as a child, and your mother helped you to understand that, you know, even plants and animals are sentient beings, and they do feel pain and feel fear, and want to protect themselves. And so it's such a profound story. Do you think children have the capacity universally for empathy for sentient beings, more so than adults? And how do children lose it? And when do they lose it? And why do they lose it?
Absolutely. Listen, I see it in Gunda screenings. In every Gunda screening, when it's in public, kids coming to me and saying, hey, I cannot imagine eating meat anymore. And what they say to me first, they say to me, why nobody told me before? Why nobody told me this? So this is paradox. We live in a family, and when our kids born, what we do first? We give them a toy, right? And normally it's a toy of animal. It could be a cow, it could be a lion, it could be a dolphin, it could be any tiger, whatever. It's a toy with animal toy. And at the very same day, we give them food with sausages. So it's absurd, right? So, and each of us has, all of us, or half of us has puppies like dogs or cats. And why we do have them? Because we know they are friends. We know they are good company. We know they understand us. And in the same very time, we not allow children to know that what they are eating is in real, it's a life being. We just maybe a couple of days ago was alive and probably was happy. So this is absurd what we are doing. We are doing ourselves. And I really believe that Lev Tolstoy was right. The writer who wrote War and Peace, he was very right. When in the end of his life, he was very much into it, and he wrote very crucial article saying that we will not, as civilization, as human civilization, we will not make any step forward without empathy. If we will not understand that to kill animal and to kill human is the same, just act of killing. If we not eliminate act of killing from our behavior, if we will not stop killing, if we not allow ourselves, we cannot make any progress in our life. Simply cannot. We can be a little bit more communist, a little bit more socialist, a little bit more capitalist, a little bit left, a little bit right, but it's not fundamental change. If we really want to improve our life, we have to start with empathy. At the moment, I'm talking very much with many audience, and someone said to me, "Oh, you know that Elon Musk is trying to send us to the Mars and to discover new planets and so on and so on." And I said to him, I said to Elon Musk, guy, if you go to Mars, please don't bring anything there but empathy. Without empathy, we will destroy any planet as we destroyed this one. You know, this is the time for empathy revolution. Enough is enough. We cannot just live as we are kings of this world. We cannot behave as everything made for us. Why it's everything made for us? Why my life is more important than the life of this tree? Why my life? Why I decide if this pig can live or I can eat it? It's absurd. What is absurd also, that people believe in evolution and that we are on the top of pyramid of. If they believe in evolution, it's okay, but then they must think a little bit more, because evolution is something which never stops, right? Evolution will not stop. Today we are on the top of pyramid, maybe, but tomorrow maybe someone else will be on the top of pyramid, right? Maybe another creature, maybe more intelligent than us, and maybe more cruel than us, and they might eat our kids in the lunch or in the morning or in the Christmas. So this is so simple to understand that we cannot continue this way. We have to respect all species around us. It's just so simple, and I don't understand why we still have to talk about it. It's so easy to get it.
I think we're getting there incrementally there, but not all the way there, but very slowly there. I mean, with some fast food restaurants offering plant-based options as well. So we are slowly, it's getting into the consciousness, but it's not fast enough. It's like you said.
That's what Leonardo da Vinci said. He said it 500 years ago, that people will understand that to kill animal and to kill a human is the same act of killing. But then he said, but it will take time. It will take time. It is. It's already 500 years, he said, but we still.
I'm not sure we'll see it in our lifetime, but I hope we do. I read an interview with you, Viktor, and these are startling statistics, and they just make me nauseous thinking that in 2020, without getting too maudlin about this, in 2020 we killed 1.5 billion pigs, 66 billion chickens, 500 million cows, goats, and sheep, 2 billion rabbits and ducks, and a trillion fish. Now, as we become so I'm trying to switch over to more of a plant-based. I still have the meat in my diet, but I'm trying to consume less. And with my wife's influence as a vegetarian, she's helping me with that as well. And adults, we all have, including myself, we block this connection between killing and food, assuming the animals don't feel or suffer. And if we're in the mood for a hamburger, it's like, well, you know, even though I saw that film, I still want the hamburger. So where does this come from, and what beliefs perpetuate this of just overriding that compassion?
Can I ask you? Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you something? Do you have any dog or any cat or any animal? Do you have any? Are you communicating time to time with animals? Or you remember your meetings with animals? Do you remember they look at your eyes?
Yes. As far as my pet, my dog, who's my best friend,
Yeah.
the way they look into your eyes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, you remember. So, do you know that actually, dogs particular, they look to your right eye, not to left, to the right one.
They do. Okay.
And yeah. And they need 1.2 second to understand what do you feel, what is your emotions. My question is, how they know, and how they know that you have to look to the eyes. So we did not know that our eyes are different.
They're windows to the heart. Right, the eyes are the windows to the heart.
We did not know that right one responsible for emotion, but dogs knew. No. And my question is, if they look to the eyes, does it mean that they have same understanding of they also have two eyes, they also have two ears, they also have nose with two holes, they have one mouth, they have four. So why we don't understand this? That they have same, if they design same as we, and if they look at us, to our eyes, to understand our emotion, as we do, if we want to understand emotion of others, why we still don't understand? They design it same way as we. Why we don't, and then why we believe they don't have emotions? Why we believe they don't suffer? Why believe that they don't feel pain? Why? If they have everything what we. Look, I was filming previous film in Greenland, Aquarela, and I was diving with camera very low down there. I wanted to see how iceberg looks below, underneath. And when we came there with camera, which probably, no, not probably, it's never been done in history because it's extremely dangerous to be below iceberg, because iceberg can collapse and can turn and kill you. So, but we took this risk, we jumped to the with camera very, very low down, and we suddenly saw there little, you know, the seahorse, you know, the size, such size. So, and this, of course, this horse, little horse, seahorse, never seen anyone with camera and never seen a human, because it's never been anyone was there ever, right? So, and you know what this horse did when she saw us with camera? This horse made like, oh, like this.
Unbelievable. How big was the seahorse? I've seen the microscopic seahorses in aquariums. How big was the seahorse, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, like this, I would say.
Not that big. And it had that reaction
to
a human being.
It is in my film. It is in my film. It's just like this. Yeah, like what the hell is here? What is this? So you see, it's so simple to understand that this world is designed by same rules. We have emotions, they have emotions. We believe we have a clever, but how we can, listen, I will tell you one more. You and me, we have 5 senses, right? We can see, we can hear. Trees, do you know how many trees have? Guess.
How many senses do trees have?
Yeah.
Well, a number, right? I don't know, 20?
Exactly. And we believe
20 senses?
20. And you believe, and how we can believe that we are most important creatures in the world if we can live only 5 days without water? How we can believe that we are most important creatures in the world. If you and me and all animals can live only 2 months without plants, how we can believe that we are most important? Absurd, right? We are not most important. This planet designed in harmony. And what we do? We're the only destructive element, right? We're the only one who invented torture. We are the only one who invented Kalashnikov. We are the only one who invented nuclear bomb. We are the only one who invented concentration camp, right? How we can be more important? We are more important, yes, because of destruction. We do. Yeah.
It's a very, and one thing about your film with the stark contrast of the black and white, it's just, you really are able to hone in on the eyes of these beautiful animals. And
I can tell you a funny story about it.
oh, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, the producers, they didn't believe me. They said, "Oh, black and white, no one will watch it. Children will not watch it." And I said, "Okay, let's do trick." I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them. What I invite them to watch films. I invite them to watch the final cut. And I made a screen divided in two, left and right. In one side was black and white, in another side was color. And what I did, I put camera behind the screen and I film reaction of my producers, how they watch film. And then when film finished, they say, "Yeah, Victor, maybe children will not like it." And I said, "Wait a second, let's watch how did you watch." And all of them were watching to black and white side. And they did not believe me. I said, "Let's watch." And they saw themselves watching to the black and white side, to the black and white side.
Why why is that?
Because in color, you see too many everything. Too many color has, it's everything. You consider it like everything. In black and white, you immediately pay attention to the eyes.
Hones in,
it's like,
yes.
Yeah, and you immediately focus on, especially pigs. Pigs, they have a huge body and little eyes, very tiny. And so in color, you see more green grass, blue sky.
Right,
You
you're
see a lot of
distracted,
things.
yes.
Yeah, but in black and white, you immediately see personality of each of them. And this was a nice trick I made with producers. They say, "Oh, I don't believe it," and they watch themselves and they say, "Wow, you are right." So yeah.
Well, even just cinema itself, just if you're shooting an actor, you go straight to that actor's eyes. And with this, I mean, the animals were the subject or the actors, and I went straight to the chicken's eyes. I went straight to the cow's eyes, and the beautiful eyelashes that the cows have, and just that sadness and looking right straight at the camera. It was so profound. And it makes you look like, it makes you think that the cows are communicating with their eyes when they're looking right at the camera. I don't know how you got permission to shoot on these particular farms, because I know it was spread out through Norway and I believe Germany and United Kingdom as well. But I'm sure I don't know how you got permission to do that, but I know they're all spread out as far as the specific farms. But how long did this is for my own edification, how long did the film take to shoot?
It actually was not much. And first of all, I want to make a little note about what you said about cows. The story is, normally, in average, they live very short life. So the ones who produce for meat, they live very short life, like extremely short. And the ones who lives for milk, they also live very short life. Like in average, they live 10 times less than they're supposed to live. Imagine 10 times less. So it's just absurd what we do. But anyway, you normally don't see old cow. If cow is already 6 years, it's already unusual. They will die in 3 and 4 and 5. But if in my film, the cows you saw, the portraits, they're over 20 years old. this is why, yeah, this is why they're so beautiful, because they have life behind in their eyes. So, and why they are so old? Because it's not a farm. The particular portraits I film in sanctuaries. Sanctuaries is not a sanctuary is not a farm. Sanctuary is a place when human give chance to animals to live as long as they can. And that's why animals believe that humans are nice, so in normal farm you cannot come close to the bull with such huge horns. You cannot even come because it's dangerous. But in this farm, it's not a farm. Animals behave friendly, very friendly, because people are very friendly with them. People, that's why they allow me to film so close. And yeah, so in fact, it was not long. We filmed 2 months story of pig, Gunda itself. We
Two,
have
month,
piglets.
two
It
months for
was
Gunda. 2 months.
2 months before they were taken away. It was 2 months, and then we filmed. And then we filmed 1 week of cow story and couple of days of chicken story. But it's actually even 1 day of chicken. So it's actually very fast, in a way. Because we just knew that in UK there are many sanctuaries, and sometimes, like every 2 months, British people allowed to buy from farmers, to buy chickens to sanctuary, to bring them to sanctuaries, and to give them second chance to live. I mean, when chicken do not produce enough uh, eggs, they go to slaughterhouse, right? So in the UK there are many people with empathy and who decided to buy those chickens who's supposed to be killed today, and they buy it from farmers, and they bring them to their land, and they open cage, and chickens which never been outside before entire life, they suddenly first time see the sky, first time touch the grass, first time go out. And this is why it's magic, because they're like absolutely fascinated
So
by
the
what
chickens were filmed on that one-legged chicken, and the other chickens were filmed on that farm, and the cows
yeah.
were filmed on that farm, right?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, it's few different places, because I was trying to find. It's also for cinema. It's also important location, right? Like, so how it looks, location, how, what is it, the background, and so on. So we collect the Norwegian part. We film in Norway, pig story, and then we film a chicken story. We film in Wales, and cow story we'll film in different part of UK, and one part of um, we filmed once episode of a cow running in the farm, in regular farm, when these cows who never been outside, and after long winter they open door and they run and they almost dance, and then if you see, they came to the grass, and they do not eat grass, but they breathe grass. This is so amazing. This beautiful moment when cow, they came to the grass and they just enjoying the smell of it. This is it is same as if we will be locked in the cage and suddenly we appear in the freedom. So we will probably behave same way, right? Freedom is freedom, and so cows behave exactly as we would do probably. So this is, I still confused why it's so difficult for us to understand it, but it looks like it's still difficult.
Getting back, Victor, about how we can create more awareness, and this film is a perfect example of creating more awareness of treating these sentient beings with respect, with dignity, and as if we would treat ourselves, which is sometimes not very good. But how can one sensitize more people into more awareness? And I also read an article about that interview with you about using cinema and the camera as a weapon. I mean, it's a responsibility to be a filmmaker. It's a responsibility. And we've already told every story there is. you know, in the book about love and about, you know, it's all been manufactured. Every story has already been told. It's just that, you know, it's a variation on a theme. But this is the first time where I've actually sat and watched a film in which I was forced, not forced, but content to really be in the moment with these creatures. Seriously be in real time in the moment. I mean, has a farmer ever really sat, who raises cows and chickens, has he ever just sat and been in the moment with these animals and watched them just coexist, observe them? And it's, as a human being, it's kind of like observing a life form on another planet. From that kind of curiosity, voyeuristic sake. And I don't think I've ever been forced to do that as an audience member. Looking at these creatures that you take for granted and that we eat and consume as almost these otherworldly creatures from another planet. And this film really creates that space to really live in the moment for 90 minutes, which is a very short time with these animals. So is that the way to create more awareness, like through films like this, and not have talking pigs and love stories about pigs and animation about pigs, but to create more stories like this where we have humans who are out of the picture? And so how do we create more awareness and sensitize people to what our responsibility is? What do you think?
In my opinion, first of all, it's obligation of parents. I understand that my generation of people, they probably, on you or your generation, we probably cannot change life much. Like, for example, you yourself said, oh, I'm still eating hamburger even I watch a film. And that's probably the most of us will do same. Like, people will say, yeah, Gunda is a good film. Yeah, I cry a little bit in the end. It's heartbreaking, but I still want pizza with sausages. But for kids, if we will be honest with them, if we will not hide the truth from them from the beginning, if we will say truth that what you are eating was a live being just a couple of days ago, just be sure that you have to decide yourself, is it okay with you or not? I guess this is the key, because it's, you see, for example, Buddhism exists so many hundreds and hundred years, and still not many people get it, right? And same is, so it's, I guess it's question of personality, personal decision. I guess it's question of families. That's why family exists, to have certain honest conversation about everything most fundamental in life. We cannot delegate it to schools or to kindergartens. We cannot delegate it to art or to books or to cinema. This is our obligation to teach our children what is good and what is not good. At least what is truth and what is real behavior. Because we actually, what we do is wrong. We know, for example, the Christmas tree. We know about this story, right? About Christmas tree, right? And why we have a Christmas tree. And we know that it's probably not everything there correct, right? Probably it's half of its mythology. But we educate our children in a way that they have to believe in this mythology, right? And for this purpose, we actually, for example, I live in Berlin. And you know what happened here in January? In January, all Berlin full of Christmas tree on the street. So the people cut Christmas tree just for 1 week. Just for 1 week. Millions of Christmas trees. Millions. And they're all on the street in the 1st of January. All of them. So, and then they wind plays with them a couple of weeks before, or sometimes even all months, before people will collect them and put them in the garbage. So this is like what we are doing in terms just for okay, we have this tradition, but at least we have to explain. We are not able to change it anymore, but at least we can speak to children and say, hey guys, this is what we are doing. We invented mythology. We want you to believe in it, but you have to know truth. The truth is, this is the truth. The truth is, trees are alive being. Trees has feelings, emotions, intellect. Even they don't have brain. They can hear you, they can see you, they can understand you. Even if you don't see their eyes, they can see you. Even you don't hear their ears, they can listen you. So they have even memory. Plants and trees, they have memory. We have to tell the truth that this is what art can do, at least. And art can provoke people. I don't know, I'm an idealist, of course, but above art, what is really we can do, we have to be honest with our kids. It's obligation of personal obligation of each of us not to lie to our kids. So tell them truth, that animals the sausage they eat was alive. The trees we cut for Christmas, it's a live tree. Everything, the fish we like, we eat is alive. And look, I give you one example. Do you know that fish has fish scales, right? So let's say each fish has 1,000 fish scales, little ones, right? Maybe I even have, wait a second.
Okay.
So I just show you. So I'm interested in this. This is a fish scale. So each fish has 1,000 of those. So we have a fingerprint, right? Which individual, right? So I have few fish scales, and then they're different, each of them. So each fish has 1,000 fish scales, and each of them is different. So nature, for some reason, makes huge effort to design this beauty. They're extremely beautiful, extremely beautiful. But now imagine that we have a few trillions fishes in the sea. And each of them has 1,000 scales, and each of them individual has different, like snowflakes.
They have like individual fingerprints, but thousands of individual fingerprints.
Exactly. Individual, it's absolutely different. So my question is, why nature made this effort? Why? If it's nothing, then why nature was working so hard to make this individual beauty?
Why didn't nature make it homogenized so every fish is the same? So you're telling me that no fish
if it's
is...
just for us to eat, why so beautiful? Why it's so beautiful? Why fishes which lives very deep in the sea, like some fishes lives lower than 100 meters and deep on the sea, even deeper, but they have color on the scales. Fish scale, they have colors. They have blue, red, green, but there is no light there. There is no light. Why they beautiful? Why they have color? Think about it. Why nature made them color? Why? For example, why we have GPS and we are very proud of it now, but it's a very new thing, right? We achieved to make GPS. But every year, millions of birds flying from my country to Africa through Gibraltar. How they know? They don't have GPS, and then come back to the same place. How do they know? Have whale knows have 1,000 miles. They have a meeting place and they meet in the same day. 1,000 miles. How do they know? Without clock, without GPS. How do they know? Even small creatures like what we eat with together, what most of us eat with pasta, like how do you call it? Yeah. Do you know that they meet in certain moments, they gather together in certain moment of the year on the bottom of the sea. They gather together in the same place. How do they know? How they communicate? How they decide, oh, we have to party, we have a meeting, we have a party. Tomorrow morning we have to meet. And they are going from different part of the ocean to meet together. How do they know? And after this, you're telling me we are the most important? We don't even know what we want, what humans want. We want to live long, right? We want to live and not to suffer when we're old, right? We don't want to have arthritis and all this stuff when we're old, right? This is what we want, right? This is our goal, to live more than 100 years and not to have arthritis and Alzheimer and all these illnesses. Is it correct? This is the goal of humanity. Exactly. But excuse me, crocodile has no arthritis. Tree can live 3,000 years. The shark can live 700 years in Greenland. And we just, yeah, in Greenland, shark in Greenland can live 700 years. And we just want to live above 100 years. Crocodile, when it's fight and die and fight, or when it's heartbroken or just die, when scientists open his body, they don't see any sign of its age. There is no sign of age. They don't know it's 20 years old or 100 years old because it does not have any sign. There is no arthritis. There is no any, everything good in blood, everything good in heart, everything good. And we just want to achieve it. So let's be calm. Let's be modest. Let's look around and face reality. Reality is everything we achieve only because we look properly to the animals. For example, we have helicopter. How did we do it? We look to the birds, we look to the insects, and then we invented airplanes and helicopter. We have our caterpillars, our tractors. How did we do this? We look to caterpillars, real ones, and we design. So we just trying to imitate what nature already have.
Right, right. It's fascinating. Well, we're going to have to come to a close, and I could talk to you for hours, of course, about everything. And you're such a fascinating individual and an incredible filmmaker. But just one more question for you at the end of this incredible conversation is: what impact do you want this film to have? I mean, it's already had a huge impact, of course, as we all know. But what is your intention, your overall intention for the film? Just to create more awareness, or for the children of the next generation, or for the parents to say, listen, to tell our children, listen, this came from this, and this animal, or whatever this animal was, a living, sentient being, and now it's no longer, and it's on our table, and you have the choice. You have the choice to not do the right thing or the wrong thing, but to make your own choices, your own decisions based on what the information I'm giving you as a parent. So is that the kind of impact you want for this film, or something much more deeper than that?
I would say like this. I would talk to all people. We cannot wait when Biden, Putin, and President of China will agree to something. They will never agree with anything. Never. If we really worry about, like many people talking about climate change, global warming, and continue eating meat. But 30% of the disaster coming from this, from the meat industry, because we have to produce this. Imagine 1 billion people has no access to water. 1 billion people has no access to clean water today. In the same very time, we have 1 billion cows on the planet today. But each cow needs 10 times more water than human. And in order to feed the cow and produce food for her, we cut the forest and grow food for her. So in order to eat meat, we need much more water than people need. And in order to feed them, we cut forests, which produced rain. Clouds appears because of trees. And we cut them and we produce meat. And then we have to kill those billions of animals every year. We have to cut them. We have to freeze them. We have to put them in plastic, in paper, transport them, cut again, cook. What we are doing? What we are doing? So what I would say, if you really think about planning, don't wait that Biden and Putin will come to agreement. It will never happen. It will never happen. What you can do yourself, immediately, just today, think about it. Right now, you can change this. If you stop eating meat, at least, okay, if you cannot stop it right away, immediately, at least do it once a week. People 100 years ago, they were eating meat once a week. Once a week. In the beginning of 20th century, it was normal to eat meat once a week. And we were less than 2 billion people. We were less than 2 billion people. And now we are almost 8 million and we eat meat every day. You see what we do?
Yes, interesting. It's just a little bit of a, it's not a huge sacrifice just to cut it down to, for meat eaters, just to do it once a week. And that could create major changes.
Of course, this already will. If you really care about the planet, then just don't wait that Paris Agreement or now they talk of Glasgow Agreement is next month. Nothing will happen. Nothing. Don't stop talking about it. Just do something. Just do something. Stop eating meat. At least not every day. Because in America, you eat more than 100 kilogram meat a year. Guys, wake up. More than 100 kilogram meat every year, each of you, including kids and people above 100 years old. In average, you eat over 100, in some states, over 120 kilogram meat per year. Imagine this. So it's like bigger than me, bigger than my body. I'm a huge man. So each year you eat such human like me, such body like me. Imagine, and if you live 100 years, you will eat 100 animals like my size. Can you imagine this? It's absurd, right? It's absurd what we do. So simple. I mean, yeah. And anyways, you guys doing good in many ways. So.
Viktor, thank you so much. Like I said, I can talk to you for another 2 hours. It would be a great pleasure. It's been just a pleasure just to meet you, and our viewing audience I'm sure they're loving the fact that we're able to speak with you, especially after viewing this incredible film. So thank you so much for your time today. I don't know I'm sure you're on to the next film and you're on to your next project, and I'm sure it will be enlightening and revelatory like Gunda is. So thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your vision with us, and we so appreciate you as a fellow human being and as
thank you very much.
Enlightening example. Thank you so much, Viktor. All right, wonderful. Have a great day, and thank you. We would also like to thank CNN for launching the Call to Earth Day initiative. Everyone at Mindful Eye is honored to take part, and we must all protect this incredible planet Earth we call home. The Buddhist Tsutsi Foundation, which the Tsutsi Center for Compassionate Relief and this program represent, is at the forefront of advocacy for adopting plant-based diets. And please check out Tsutsi USA's Very Veggie movement and join this vital global initiative. Finally, do join us for the next episode of Mindful Eye.